hello. Sarah, are you gonna be, if people have questions and stuff like that, are you gonna be monitoring the chat?
Chat over here.
The chat?
Yes,
Excellent.
you got it.
Thank you. All right, you guys, Rise 242 plus. It doesn't even say leads on there. And most of you are here because of leads. So we're going to go through this program, what it looks like, what it can do for you, and how it can help your business. Sound good? And then can I have permission to kind of talk at a higher level today? And if you're not even there, let's say, hey, you know what? I'm not even here at this level yet. That's not a bad thing. Has anyone ever went to, you ever draw a blank?
Never happened.
She's like, he draws CrossFit. Has anyone ever trained at CrossFit? On that. When you go to CrossFit and you go to train, how many workouts do they have? All of them. They have all of them, but they have one workout. They have one workout at CrossFit. And when you go to work out, you might be working with someone who absolutely competes at CrossFit at an international level, a regional level, or a local level, doing the same workout that you are. You might also have an individual that's 300 pounds doing that same exact workout for the first time, but they're doing the same workouts on that. With this in this industry, sometimes we talk about the processes and the systems and what it looks like to succeed in real estate. Sometimes does it feel like shaming? Can it on that? It's not a shaming thing whatsoever. It's where you can go and how you can go ahead and get there. That 300-pound individual, when we come up to the pull-ups, they might be able to do one. Awesome. The person competing might, the goal might be 20 and they do 35. So it's just doing what you do and keep getting better day after day after day and just being consistent with it. So when we're talking, you're like, gosh, I'm not there yet. That's absolutely fine. The role is to get you there on that realm. All right, let's kick this off. What all of this is. All right, so this is a lead program and there's training involved and there's consulting involved. Has anyone ever heard of OpCity? No. OpCity is a lead program. They kick out leads. It's actually realtor.com. So OpCity used to go ahead and send out all these leads to all these individuals, and just send them all out. And they're like, we do not want to work with individuals anymore. We want to work with teams that are trained on that whole end. So they made a partnership with Rise. So Rise is a Keller Williams company, but they also, you'll see if you're on Rise calls, there's Century 21 on the call. There's EXP on the call. All of this. Rise is a training program for OpCity so you can optimize your experience with the leads and receive more leads. But Rise didn't just want to go ahead and work with all the members of the teams. So what they did is they went to market centers like ours and say, hey, can you go ahead and put teams together to receive leads, make sure that they're trained through Rise, hold the standard so we can get the leads from OpCity/realtor.com. Does that all make sense? Any questions with that? So that's pretty much what we are. The Rise 242 Plus, we are a training and consulting company for agents to grow their business. We use leads to provide income opportunities while increasing your real estate skills. So has anyone ever went to a great class before and they sat in the class and they listened to a whole bunch of stuff? Like, man, I'm going to go ahead and do this in my business. And then the next day life happens and then they forget about the class and they never implement anything, right? You kind of feel bad about it. This is the carrot. The carrot is a closing. The carrot is a commission check at the end. So we get to go through all of this learning and education and training and talk about best practices, but you actually get a paycheck at the end, which makes this the ultimate training event, right? Because we get a closing, so which is very cool. We provide leverage. How do you provide leverage? Well, a couple things. Is anyone familiar with the pyramid that Gary Keller talks about all the time. When he's training, he has a pyramid and he's talking about three things, and they all start with a L. Does anyone know what they are? Leads, listings, and leverage. So on this front, you are actually leveraging out a lead system. What do I mean by that? Well, you're leveraging out realtor.com to do commercials. You're leveraging out realtor.com and OpCity to go ahead and get a lead and talk to them on the phone and warm them up. Then they hand it off to you. Now, in that front, also with the leverage, once you go ahead, you lock in that lead, you get them to a property, you write an offer. We have leverage on our side. We have transaction CTC. Thank you. I almost gave you a new name. You didn't even know that back then. On that whole front. So excuse me there. So we have that. We have a title company to ensure that when you go ahead and close, they have a happy, successful closing. Why? Because the goal is to go ahead. A closing leads to a referral leads to another closing on that whole realm. So you have huge leverage with this that you're leveraging out. The key is being consistent with what you do on that realm. Any questions there? Seeing none. What would it look like to make $285,600 in a year? Is that a good number? Some of you might be low. Some of you might. I'd like to make $85,600. Kind of a cool number. You get to do a lot of things with that number, don't you? This market center, you guys, do you know what your average commission is? So we have one number. We're going to go higher than that. Average commission in 2023. Wait for it. $11,900. That was the average on that. In order to get 285,600, the number of transactions one would need to do 24. I'm going to throw out a question. Hopefully someone can answer it. How many is that a month? Two.
Depends on how many months you're working.
Depends on how many. That's the answer. All right. Very intelligent group over here. And so it's 2 a month on that realm. Does that seem achievable? Now, I know there's skeptics in the room. They're like, okay, 24 a month at this month commission. Can't argue with that because that is our number in 2023. The ALT to show. All right. I'm not actually going to go home with $285,600. Yep, you're right. You're not, because you have your expenses and stuff like that to go ahead and pay on that realm. But it's a darn good place to start on that realm. All right, that's the big picture. So I get to coach some folks, and then I'm coached, and I hang around with other coaches and high achieving people. And last week we were sitting down and we were talking about 5 things that top producers do that non-producers don't. And I want to go through this with you guys. And it doesn't matter where you're at right now, it's where we're going. Set clear goals. They know where they're going. So it's January of 2024. Who set goals for 2024? And let's say if you didn't, still raise your hands. Okay? We have a goal. We have a clear goal on where we're going. Does everyone know how they're going to get there? Excellent. We got some yeses in the room. Can I tell you, it's okay if you don't. Because what you're going to find when building a business, when reaching a goal, doesn't matter what you're doing, the answer is actually in the actions that you take, and then you pivot a little bit. So you take action, that doesn't work, you pivot and you keep moving forward to your goal. A lot of times we'll sit, it's January 1st, I set my 2024 goal, I'm all excited, and I'm gonna sit now for the next month and a half, and I'm gonna make the greatest plan ever to hit that goal, and you never get in action. When the United States went to the moon, did they set the goal and then put the whole plan together? They did it in action. They got into action. They flew rockets up. They blew up. They flew rockets up. They blew up. They kept changing the course and stuff like that. Then they sent up monkeys. They came back dead. Then they came back alive, and we're going to send some humans out there and stuff like that now. It was a process. All of your answers are in the actions that you go ahead and make. They track their numbers. Successful people and producers, they track their numbers. They know how many phone calls that they made. They know how many connections that they made. They know how many people are in their database and what that actually looks like and what they need to, how many people they need to talk to, all of these things, how many events. They time block their schedule. I think these are all so good, but they time blocking to have a goal and not have a calendar that matches up to that goal is, well, it's not realistic, right? So you have to go ahead and time block what your daily calendar looks like and how it relates to those goals and how it relates to those numbers on that front. In your business, in your real estate business, having 3 selected lead gen activities. 1 needs to be your database. That one's just a given. Another lead gen activity, it can be open houses. It can go ahead and be calling expireds, for sale by owners. That's a lead gen activity to grow your database. It can go ahead and be social media is my thing. It can go ahead and be, it can be a lot. We could go on and on and on and on. You need 3 lead generation activities. This is, I'm going to say one of those 3 though, need to be on autopilot. And what I mean by that, if you go ahead and you look at Livian. Anyone heard of Livian? Big team, great big national team. Does anyone have any other place? Place is another national team out there. All of these big, large teams, they're buying leads from somewhere that just come in on that. Do you guys know why? Time, leverage, keeps things moving. A couple slides back, I talked about consistency. You need to be consistent in your business. You are going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have highly motivated days where you just call the world and reach out to the world. And you're going to have days where you just don't feel like doing it. When you're connected to a lead source that forces you to go ahead and communicate and reach out to leads, and it's interactive, and you've committed to do it, it keeps you in the business and it keeps you churning. It keeps you going on those bad days. What happens when you're doing that, then when someone from your database calls, you're like, oh, I haven't taken a mental break for the last 4 days or the last 3 weeks. I can answer the phone, set the appointment, go sell them property on that and service them at a high level. Having something consistent that's working while you're sleeping, I think is vital. I think it's hugely important. And you won't find a large team that's doing big numbers that don't have it because they need a consistent source. Do you know like Zillow leads and stuff like that? There's a lot of teams that have them. They lose money on it. It's a lot. You call it a loss loser. And it keeps everybody running and cycling in the group for their teams. So that's why I think one of your lead generation activities needs to be something that's forced on that. One needs to be your database, and the next thing is the thing that you love. But they add accountability. So what's accountability? What does that look like? It could be a coach. It could be hiring a coach. That costs money. Well, it might be what you need to do. Another thing, it could be accountability partner, someone that you work with on a daily basis, where you break down and you talk. What do you talk about? Well, you talk about these 4 things above, because those are the ones that matter in a business. Accountability, having accountability. What I like in this is the one thing that I love about Rise, and I love about Op City and this 242 plus. Boom, we talk about setting goals. We track numbers. And it's all done pretty much automated for you through the app and the CRM from Op City. And they rank you. You get a score, which is accountability. The higher your score, the higher quality leads you get. The lower your score, the lower quality leads you get. On that, time blocking, you need to time block to succeed in this system. The 3 lead generation sources. We talk about your database all the time in training. We talk about the client experience. Your client experience should be exactly the same in this lead program as it is for your clients. There is no difference on that. So we get to train you up in this with leads so you can take it to your database on that whole front. Questions here? Am I missing any? Is there something that should be on here in the top 5 that's not? Online? Yes.
Practice and role play.
Practice and role play. At bats, right? It's a big one. It's another reason why I like this too, because you get leads, you get to practice and role play, and you're not related to them. They're not Facebook friends yet on that. So which is huge. Thank you. All right. You know you want to. All right, we're going to stay here for a while because it's so important. Yeah. Okay. Now with this, we already looked at this slide today, but for what I've said, does this now make sense? Realtor.com is the website. OpCity is they have Smile and Dial. They have people that talk to the people that go ahead and grade them and put them in a CRM. And then they hand them off to the agent. Rise is the training company that holds our hand to make sure we're doing what we need to do to be in best practice. 242 plus, that is the team here within the market center that we train and consult with as well and help. Leads. So when we sent out a questionnaire, like, hey, what kind of questions do you guys have, about the program, what it looks like? And we heard a couple of times like, all right, what are the ratios? What are this? What's that? In 2023, all of the lead platforms out there sold 170 million leads. I didn't know there was 170 people in the United States, to be honest. I mean, that's a lot, right? And now you break it down to, well, we sold 4.2 million properties. Times it by 2 because there's a list side and then there's a buy side to that. But 4.2 million properties sold. So what does it look like in Op City in the 242 plus program? When you first start, this is the average of the people that have come aboard so far. When you first start, it will take you 40 leads until you get a close rate. 40 leads until you get a closing. Also, when you first start, Op City is not going to give you the best leads ever. I go ahead, like when I talk about like teams, so I had a team, a pretty large team. And when we had new agents come to be a part of the team, I would tell them, you're not going to get grandma. You're not going to get grandma. What does that mean? If I have a family member that I've known my whole entire life and they're ready to go sell or buy a house, I'm not giving them to the new agent on the team. You need to prove yourself that you're hungry and you're going ahead and working with people at a high level. I got news for you. That's any team out there in the world. That's what they're looking for. You have to make your way up. Op City is no different. Your first leads are not going to be great. Great people, just not great leads on that. They might be looking for a mobile home. They might be looking for a rental. They might just go ahead and be looking for a $1.2 million house. On that whole front, we just handed off this morning an $800,000 house. Someone was pre-approved. That was kind of fun. But at the gate, you're not going to get high quality leads. I'm just, some people do, but just because of the numbers. But I'm just letting you know, you have to prove yourself at first. And what happens is when Op City, when they get a lead on the phone, they're actually grading the lead. If the person is pre-approved, if they're looking for a $600,000 house here in Apple Valley, let's say, and they want to buy in the next 30 days, and you're brand new, you have a lower grade on you. You have a lower score until you show that you take leads and you move them through the pipeline and get them to a closing. Then you get a higher score, then you get a higher level lead on that. And so hence the 40 leads. After you go ahead and have that first closing, then you're looking at a 16-to-1 ratio. 16 leads for one closing. Now, what do those ratios mean? Do they mean anything right at the moment? This is the ratio. So as far as this is why, 170 million to 4.2 million properties sold. This is why a lead program is great, but a lead program without training, without consulting, without some type of accountability doesn't work. Hence, people keep going back into the funnel looking for a real estate agent, right? On that. That's why the training component of this is so important, and your consistency in it is so important on that whole front. Yay? Questions?
Do we know, does that number continue to improve as you get more closings? Like
Yes.
the 16-to-1, does it change then to 8-to-1?
You know what? So we've been doing this at a higher level for the last 9 months, and that's where we're at right now.
Okay,
So are some people better?
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are some people not as? Absolutely. That's the average on that. So how does this work? One, you say, I want to go ahead and do this. Op City gets you signed up on an app. You get an app. When you are signing up, you pick zip codes on where you want to work. So you'll pick a zip code and then they'll put a 20-mile radius around it. That is your Realtor.com Op City territory on that whole front. The lead comes in to Realtor.com. They talk with someone from Op City. That person warms them up to you. Then they go ahead and they click a button, and everyone who's in that, call it grade or score for the individual that wants to see a property, phone rings, beeps. First one clicks wins on that front. Then as far as there's either a live transfer or all of a sudden you'll get a text message or an email saying, here's the information on this buyer on that whole row.
They
Just
transfer over any information that they gathered during their original call?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Do they still introduce you to the person on a live call? I had
Yes.
this years ago. Still the same way.
And typically, yes, unless they don't have it or won't give it or something like that, but their goal is a warm transfer. One of the things too, when you're being transferred an individual, you want to you want to realize that they've been on the phone for 4 to 5 minutes with somebody else. So this is a new call to you. This is not a new call to them. So you need to go ahead and close for an appointment right there on that. And we'll talk about that. We train about that. On that whole, all your leads, everything is tracked through the app, through the CRM. Cool. I keep clicking like it's
You're
gonna
good.
do
It's,
something.
it's good. Then I know to do it.
On the app itself, there's some things to increase lead flow. Half of what we do is to train on converting the lead and moving them through to a closing. The other half of what we do is we train on the algorithm. And the algorithm, what's determined the quality of lead that you get. So sometimes your app will bog down and it'll get slow. Well, you need to go ahead and delete the app, and then you bring the app back in with your password or username, and all of a sudden you're new again, and all the leads start flowing again. The app just gets bogged down on that front. Change zip codes every once in a while. We play an algorithm game with it. So, and we train on that, just so you know, on that front. Thank you. All right, pillars to success in this game, in this business. They're the same pillars of success for your database. These are the pillars of success in real estate. 1, speed to lead. Speed to lead is vitally important. When you get an email, you get a text message from a client, you get a phone call from a client, they don't want to wait 24 hours to hear back to see if they can see a house on 2nd Street. In what we're doing here on this lead program is your app will go ahead and buzz, shake, make a noise. You want to click on that and accept that lead as fast as possible. If you actually have a chance of going ahead and getting a lead, you're clicking on that in less than 6 seconds. Because there's 40 other people that are clicking on that lead too. This is competitive on that whole front. So it's speed to lead. Notes, you need to take notes and place them in your CRM on the clients that get referred to you. Why is that? Well, there's a huge reason for that, because the people at OpCity that are referring you these clients, they're looking at your notes. They get paid if you get a closing. So if they see someone's doing a quick speed to lead, clicking the button, and they're putting on notes on the conversations that they're having with this client, they're going to like you a lot more. They're going to raise your score, and they're going to give you higher quality leads, which is a big deal. Right, Mr. Adoba?
Quality leads.
Quality leads. That's what we're talking about.
Conversion rate.
So that is huge. One of the things that we've been doing too, and we've been talking about, is using ChatGPT to go ahead and put like some type of notes for leads, and then let ChatGPT recreate it and make it really cool, and then placing it back in there. The algorithm loves it. So the notes. All right, communicate. Set an appointment in 30 seconds of the call. 30 seconds of the call. 30 seconds of the call. This is crazy. That's fast, isn't it? Now, you got to realize they've been on the phone for over 4 minutes. They're tired. 4 minutes. I mean, we can conquer something in 4 minutes. We can do a lot of cool things in 4 minutes, but they've already been on the phone for 4 minutes. You need to set the appointment. Back in the day, I would even say a year and a half ago, we would, as agents, we'd be like, well, we need to pre-approve these buyers before I have any real conversation or anything like that, I'm telling you right now, no, we're not going to pre-approve them. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to set an appointment, and then we're going to pre-approve them on that. So what does that look like? Ring, ring. Hi, I would like to take a look at, I'm calling, I want to take a look at 123 ABC Street. Oh my gosh, that is a great property. Would today at 2 o'clock work, or would tomorrow at 1 work to go ahead and see it? You're like, you don't even know what the property looks like, but you're setting the appointment. They do. They've seen it on the internet. They've talked to somebody for 4 minutes. I'd like to take a look at it today at 2. Excellent. what's your contact information, get all that. UpCity's already sent it all to you. So what I'm going to, let's say the guy's name is Bob. What I'm gonna do, Bob, is I'm gonna check with the sellers to make sure we can show that property to you today. And then as soon as I get permission, I'll give you a call just to double check and confirm it on that end. So boom, get out the phone, check out the property, see if you can show it to. If you can, great. If not, not a big deal. Just take whatever that property is, find homes that look like it in that area, and then call them up and say, hey, you know what? That house right there has an accepted offer on it, but I found one on 3rd Street and I found one on 4th Street that just fits your criteria really good. And actually, I think the one on 4th Street is even better. And then you go ahead and you show them those properties. And then you get them all pre-approved and analyzed and all that other stuff. We don't want you going out there with a stalker or something like that. So we gotta do some, we gotta do some background checks and stuff like that. But does that make sense? So we teach those best practices on that. Settings. Remember one of the pillars that we talked about, and pillars here, but one of the things was having a calendar and working that calendar. Here, in order to go ahead and do speed to lead and get leads in less than 6 seconds, you need to be on. You just can't have it floating in your pocket like, hey, it's on, I can accept leads whenever. Because in this system, you can snooze yourself when you're off. And when you want to accept leads, you turn it on. So there's huge flexibility there. But here's the deal. When you're on, you need to be on. It needs to be in your calendar. Now, the best time to receive leads is from 8:30 in the morning and 10:30 in the morning, or from 4 to 6 at night. 38% of all the leads do come in the weekends. So you need to have this scheduled in your calendar when you are working leads and accepting leads. Now, like I said, this is just not a lead program. When it's in your calendar that you're accepting leads, this is when you should be working your database. This is when you're going ahead and sending out messages from social media. You're going ahead and making phone calls, text messages, sending out emails. This is when you work your database, best practice. And while you're working your database, get some leads. But be ready to click. Information, moving them through the pipeline. I receive a lead. This is what they're looking for. I receive a lead. I go ahead and I set the appointment. I show homes. I write an offer. We close. Or I meet with the individual. They're not ready to buy a house for like 2 years. Awesome. We'll teach you how to text them, communicate with them a few times, send them back to OpCity. OpCity will work them. You want to hear something really crazy? A year from now, OpCity will go ahead, when they're ready to buy, kick them back over to you. They're flagged in the system that they're yours on that end of it. Cool? Questions with that? Do you see how this relates to your own personal business? And how they're the same thing? Yeah. Thank you. Training and support. Let's go on to the next slide. This is great. Thank you. All right, so boom, I want to do this. OpCity has a beginner class on Tuesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. No, one's at 10, one's at 12 on that. They last about an hour. Here's the thing with OpCity. The last 2 months, I've been not able to get anybody in to OpCity. They blocked it off. They closed it. Went ahead a couple weeks ago. I was sitting here talking with Rise, and I'm like, I have people that want to be on this program that can't get in. And because of the people that are already in this program, in this market center, that are doing really, really well, they're like, we'll take more of you guys all day long. So they opened up the portal. I don't know how long it's going to be open for, but as far as it's open right now, so we can get you guys in. And if it does close, we'll just give it a couple months and I'll make some phone calls and we'll get you in there at another point in time. But if you want to go, excellent. There's classes for that and we'll set you up on that. Next slide, please.
Jared?
Yes.
Are those classes open whether they're taking us or not? If we pop in for that hour regardless of the status?
No, because like that first class, what they're doing is they're setting you up on your app. They're setting you up on your CRM. and they're going through the process with you on that. So it's pretty specific on that. These rise calls, you could go on them. You'd have to reach out to me and I could get you the link for those so that you'd be set up for that. And what they do, there's thousands of people in this program. And they're always analyzing through the algorithm who's doing the best at it. And then they interview them and they talk with them and they get best practices. And then they roll it out to these classes. So that's what these classes are for on that. So if they have classes on Tuesday, they have classes on Wednesday. And I'll go through it if you want to be in the program, what you need to do to be in the program. But those are classes there. If you want to hit the next slide, Sarah. Troubleshooting. All right. Has anyone ever had problems with technology ever in their entire life?
Me right now.
Yes. Okay. So they have troubleshooting classes. My app doesn't work. This locks up. This isn't happening here. My lead flow is down. We'll talk about once we get into it deeper, not today, but my score's low. I need to get my score higher so I get higher quality leads. Awesome. You go to these troubleshooting classes and they step you through on what you need to do to improve it on that. And then you take those corrective steps and we get you going on that front. But that's there. There's so much leverage here. It's awesome. The next slide, please. Also on tech support, let's say you can't wait. That class is on Friday and it's Tuesday. And I'm time blocked and I need leads coming in. Call that phone number. They're there to help get you going. Next slide, please. Thank you, Sarah, by the way. We have twice a month, we have a 242 plus, we have a group call. That group call is a half an hour long. We go through what we go through are the pillars. We go through best practices and we talk about what's working and what's not working as a group, as a team within this market center. So this is very cool. So those are on Wednesdays at 10:30 to 11 that we do that. Next slide, please. There's also once you join the group, there's also a 242 plus Facebook page. That's where people ask questions, communicate. Hey, I got a buyer doing this, seller doing that. What do you guys think of that on that front? So that's another resource for everyone. Next slide, please. There's a weekly newsletter that goes out. It reminds you when the classes are to keep you going. Next slide. Leverage. So when we started this out, we talked about leverage as a part of this. So we have realtor.com creating leads, doing advertisement, getting people on the phone, sending them to you. Once we get an accepted offer, Becca, contract to close. Can you come up and tell us a little bit about your business?
Of course.
Becca's company does exactly what it says it does.
Genius is in the marketing.
I know.
Hi, everybody. I'm Becca Nail, and I'm the owner and founder of Contract to Close. Our whole role is to provide that leverage for you that Jared was just talking about. So I only have a couple minutes, so I'm just going to hit the high notes really quickly. Our job, and when I say our, it's really Jordan's job. She's the main contact. She's a dedicated transaction manager for this whole market center. So whether it's a RISE transaction or it's your own personal transaction and your buyer or your seller, we are here to provide enormous real estate support. So we do everything from getting the earnest money out, getting it in command. We're checking to make sure your contracts are compliant. And then we're doing everything through to closing. And then even a little bit beyond. We help you with review requests from your buyers and your sellers. We'll help you remember to follow up with your buyers and your sellers after they've closed, because that's really important to stay front of mind with them. So we are here to make sure that balls do not get dropped. We close roughly, depends on the year, 1,500 transactions a year is about what our team does. We are really, really, really knowledgeable in all things Minnesota real estate and all things Keller Williams. And again, when I say we are, I mean, Jordan is really, really, really knowledgeable in all things Keller Williams because she's doing it day in and day out. If you are a seasoned agent and you've been doing real estate for 10, 15, 20 years, we are still there to help. I would say our agents on average have sold real estate, not I would say, I know, about 8 years. We have some that have been selling for 30 years. We have some that literally just started and Caitlin just closed her first transaction. And so we are there to, if you're not quite sure what you're doing, oh my gosh, I just got my first transaction, now what do I do? We're there to help you. Jordan will help you every single step of the way. We're even here, if you're not working a transaction with us and you have questions, please feel free to reach out. You have enormous support here, but we're also here to help. If you're like, I don't know how to do this in command, or what am I supposed to do? I forgot how to send the trust funds link again. Please call me. I'm always happy to help. The other highlight is Keller Williams is paying for these transactions for you if it is a RISE lead. Am I saying that correctly? A RISE transaction.
Absolutely.
We want you to use us for your personal transactions too, but this is kind of a no-brainer because you've got somebody to jump in and take that busy work off of your hands so you can focus on the income producing tasks that are going to help you grow your business. If nothing else, it just helps you bring a little bit more balance and structure into your real estate process, which ultimately makes you look great when your buyers and sellers are like, that was really smooth. There weren't hiccups. Example I always use is buyers and sellers who get a little frustrated because their agent keeps peppering them with documents to sign. We forgot to have you sign this one. Oh, we missed your initials on that one. Oh, here's a disclosure that we forgot to have you sign. It undermines their confidence. Do you really know what you're doing? We're there to make sure that everything goes well. They give you credit for that. They refer you. They call you back when they're ready to buy and sell the next time. That's what we're here for. The onboarding process with our team is really important
Key.
to get your information ahead of time. Now, if you send us a transaction, say I haven't onboarded yet, but I just got a transaction, I haven't gotten around to it, we're still going to help you, I promise. But if you can onboard with us ahead of time, it just makes it a little bit less chaotic and we don't have to do the fire drill of getting everything rolling so we can get your buyers and your sellers set up. I'll be on the call tomorrow, and I'll put that job form on. I don't know how many will be on the call tomorrow, but my intention is to be on those calls as often as I can, be those Wednesday calls that Jared was just talking about. So I'm always there to answer questions. Go ahead.
What about branding? Now, all the correspondence, is that all branded back to the agent then when you guys are communicating with our?
We do not white label our communication, just like title or your lender also has their branding. It is going to say contract to close. It's not bells and whistles for your buyers and your sellers. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, I think the service shines a little higher than the branding. So it is branded CTC with our emails, et cetera, but we don't have like logos and all that stuff screaming at your buyers and your sellers.
I'm just looking at that identity with their clients, that relationship.
The key is communicating that, I think, with your buyers and your sellers. Ben uses us a lot. I presume you give some sort of.
Yeah, so
Heads up.
I'll just say, if we go under contract, especially with wire fraud, it's easy to be like, if it's not me or Jordan reaching out to you, you can reach back out to me.
Yeah. And we always really, really strongly encourage the agents to say to the resident sellers, once we're under contract, you're going to hear from Jordan. She'll give your next steps, even CCing her on an email that you send to them, then they know to expect that email to come through. But that's a great question for especially just the fraudulent stuff.
And they're dropping your name. Pretty much every email or communication that goes out, it would say Brian in it somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. We make it very clear that we are associated with the agents and bring those connections full circle. If you are wanting to onboard, shoot me an email, shoot me a text. I've got these that I'll pass out to my emails right there in the front of them. Very quick, I don't know, 5 minutes to onboard. It should be less than that. We just want to collect some information from you. We need logins. We want to use your preferred vendors. So if you have an inspector list you like to send out, we want to use that. We do customize our templates to match your business model as best we can. So that information that you want to use for your business is important for us to have. If you don't have it right away, we'll ask you. We'll get it all set up. But that onboarding can be done just by emailing me. I'll send you the link. Otherwise, I don't know if we have that link somewhere else, but
We can
we
get
can
it
put that
somewhere else.
somewhere else.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
we'll
we
need to
can
do
put
that.
Anything else that I missed?
I think that's covered. That covers everything.
Okay.
Here, the next slide has the CTC link.
Oh, perfect. That's our website, and there is an onboarding link on our website that you can go to and just pop through there. When I pass these out, these have more details for our service. I won't ramble through all the tasks that we do for everybody's benefit. But you can see here and you can see a full list on our website.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Leverage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Definitely want to go through onboarding. So like, let's say this all sounds good. You sign up. We're actually going to send all your information to Becca so she can set that up a time with Jordan to get you all teed up. Because when you get a closing and stuff like that, we want you to have an experience. Next slide, please.
Sorry.
Oh my goodness. This would not happen if it wasn't for Title Fusion. So Title Fusion is our sponsor. They work with us. They help us. Financially, they help us, and which is excellent. Randy, Sarah, Randy,
I haven't talked to these guys in a while. It's been 2 days.
it's been 2 days.
First, to kind of fill a bucket for Becca, title side, I can speak that we really like it when you use some sort of, I call them, it's like a TC that you just need them when you need them. The highest producing teams I work for have full-time TCs. That's a way to have a TC on your transaction. It works seamlessly with title to where you guys can spend more time doing what you need to do, get some leads, go get some more files, get them to us. So I can speak with, I just went through one that came from 242 with an agent from this office. We worked with Becca and Jordan and it went great. There's a lot of pieces to turning a lead into a referral. And Becca's part of it and closing is the last pieces of it. So I always call it like, it's the couch where they come lay down and tell me how their whole transaction was, the closing table. And they'll tell me how good the agent was, especially if it was somebody from this office. They will tell me if the lender was good. And then I need to nail it too, because if we don't, who are they going to think it was their idea to send them to me, the agent? So we're very aware of that at Title Fusion. I'm kind of a Keller Williams stepchild. I have been working in a market center since 2015. Edina, Maple Grove, Eden Prairie, Burnsville, and now here. So our vibe meshes really well with Keller culture. We close a lot. All my agents are actually Keller. I have a couple that are outside, but I will say that they tend to be a lot of new buyers. And you got to tailor your closings to those because again, they might be they need more questions. We reach out. We have an old school touch. I like to do a lot of phone communication with people, especially new buyers. I don't ever want them to call my agent and ask them what they need to bring to closing, ask them who this closer is, or ask them, well, what happens at closing? So we're very good. We've been doing it for a very long time and we do kind of work. I've worked with agents that their bread and butter is off city. The bigger teams, especially, they have this thing called like a lead phone. It's gold. So they fight over that thing because they have full-time leads coming over to that thing. So I can tell you firsthand from my end, a lot of business comes out of these. And we're very well set up to work seamlessly with Becca's company. Like I said, I just went through it and I'm glad I did because I can tell you that it works great and we work great together. Especially outside of it, not just with this, like using them, using us, we're gonna get the best result you can at the tail end of that part. The closing table is like sometimes it's a forgotten piece of the closing. A lot of agents don't even come anymore, but I still know that it is the most important part, not only to me, but it's the end of your transaction. And again, you could have knocked it out of the park, but if they don't have a good closing, actual transaction at the table, you might not get that again because they're gonna blame you. So that weighs heavy on us and we don't ever forget it. Again, just like Becca said, if you're not even closing with us, I'm always downstairs. I'm up here a lot. I use your microwave 8 times a day. If you see me, ask us a question, come get some advice from us. I'm always downstairs. And if you have any questions on this thing too, let me know. Appreciate it.
Thank you. One of the things that I've heard both of them say is referral. Becca, the first time you and I met, like, we need an experience that'll go ahead and get our agents referrals. Because those are those are easy to convert. Those are easy for them, to get them into a house and stuff like that. So that is the goal. So thank you both. Next slide, please. All right. How do the commissions break down? You're gonna see this just, Randy, like you were talking about a team. This really is the breakdown of a team on commissions on that whole front. The biggest difference is your identity is you. It's not the team identity. You get to keep your identity and you get the leverage and the lead sources to grow your business and get you in the right habits. So let's just break it down. Does anyone know what the average commission in 2023 in this market center was?
11.9.
11.9. So this isn't 11.9. This is 10,000. And I like easy math. So Op City is going to take 35%. They might actually take 30%. There's occasions where they go ahead and they'll take 38%. Depending on the lead, depending on the program that they have out with that. So it's kind of a floating number. I'm letting you know that right now. Next, what happens? So we take out the $3,500. We have $6,500 left. It's split evenly, 50-50. 50 to the agent, 50 to 242 plus rise. We're putting all this on that front. There's also, to be a part of the program, $50 a month. Really, what that is saying, I'm committed to go ahead and do everything, be on the calls, work this thing. I'll pay $50 a month to do it. Questions?
On average, how many transactions are people doing on this program? Because, I'm looking at that and that's, what is it, just about a 70% referral fee.
For sure.
Transaction.
Absolutely. But you got to look at it a little bit differently. Because this is what I've had individuals that went and did 5 transactions. And all of a sudden they're getting leads out of their database and they stopped. What do you think their business did?
Same thing.
Same thing. I'm not going to go ahead and do that 50-50 split anymore. And as far as they got out of doing the habits that actually got them into it on that. This system is like a trainer. This system is like to keep you fed. This system is to keep you going every single day so that you're feeding your database. You're working your database on that front. So this right here, this is a rent payer. This is a mortgage payer. This is a really, my spouse, partner, and I both have brand new cars, and it pays for that. And it keeps you in business. The split though, so the split itself, if you go to Livian, so Livian has pretty much the same lead program, it's the same split, except you're now Livian on that.
We got kind of, maybe that's the way I direct my question. We got kind of hung up on the commission split there.
Yeah.
My question was, I was trying to do this math in my head, the commission split, the $600 a year, and how many transactions on average did the agents do last year with this program?
Yeah.
It's kind of like it gets down to, okay, so you've got to do more than 1 or 2 transactions because I add that $600 onto that $3,250 if you do 1 transaction, and then all your other expenses. So that's why
Absolutely.
that's a motivation for my question. How many
Yes.
transactions are people actually on average doing through this program?
Well, what happens is we probably will go ahead and get rid of half about 3 months into it.
Okay.
So right out of the gate, because what happens is you do need to be dedicated to go ahead and run to do these things. You need to be on call. You need to have a calendar and all of that. So right out of the gate, 50% of the people will be out. The other 50%, they are doing, I'm just thinking the 3 people that have been in it for 6 months. They're doing about it. I have some people that are almost doing a transaction a month on it. Now, those other people they'll also have, they're probably doing another 2 to 3 properties out of their database. We have a brand new agent that just started 4 months ago. And they have two closings and a listing that's yet to close. So it all kind of depends on the individual on that. But if you went ahead and you did this 5 days a week and you ran through, you're doing at least a closing a month. And and I say at least, and plus you're building the rest of your database. Thank you for clarifying that question.
Yeah, I didn't mean to put you on the spot here.
Oh, you were putting me on the spot. I just wanted to, kind of make it clear, because it looks like a lot. And I see what happens when people get out of it too.
So on average, how long are people staying in this program? Are they doing it years? They doing it to get them into action, to get them to referrals? How long are people staying in this?
And so the people that are active in it are staying in it.
They are, okay.
Yeah.
Because I heard you say 6 months, so I was wondering if there was like a drop off point or something.
Yep. So back in 2023, January 23, we kicked this off.
Okay.
Been around for a year.
And so when we first launched it, the 5 people, and what happened was I took it over. And the 5 people that were in there, I put accountability into it. When I say accountability, it's like go to a class, let's communicate, let's chat, this or that. And that they were not brought into that program. So it changed on them. So they're out at that time. Now we have a new group of people, and the ones that are in are in.
How many people are active right now?
Right now we have 5.
What's the?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I said, we already signed up. They talked about the backlog. Is that open now?
It's open right now. Actually, we turned you in
Hey.
today. Just in case.
Do we have any data about like how many leads are coming through per day? Cause I'm thinking about this number of like, I need to take 40 calls to get to 1 transaction.
Yeah.
So how many hours do I need to block off a week to get 40 calls a week in? Like, so do we have any
Trust.
data about that?
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll receive anywhere from in December around Christmas, we were receiving about 60 leads a week. That's 5 people. Now, if you're not clicking on it right away, we don't get the leads. If we don't get the leads, they go off to like Coldwell Banker.
Oh, God.
We don't want that. That's the speed of lead that we get. So we don't want that. So we've had months where week, where we'll get 12 leads, those 5 individuals. We'll have now, when the spring market hits, and there'll be a week, we'll get 140 leads. We'll get 120 leads, and we'll get 40 of them. And then the rest of those are going to Coldwell Banker, and that's not good either. So it's all speed to lead and getting your algorithm at a high level. And when we get your algorithm at a high level, that means that we're also getting you working your database at a high level. It's kind of a marriage on that front. This is designed to get your database going as well and get referrals. And we do have, and I don't have this in the numbers, but we do have agents that have received referrals from the closings that they have. And do you know how much you pay OpCity and Rise for those? Zero on that.
You just jumped ahead to one of my questions. I assume most of these are stemming from an interest in a singular property.
Right.
Raise their hand. Are they, but we also know with online leads that frankly, half of them probably have a house to sell. Are they qualifying that on the website? Or is that really a discussion? Is that a dual referral? If they're buying this and they're selling, they're interested in this property and they want to see it. And they also have a property that they own that they were considering selling.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah. So we just had a listing come through a month ago, and we had no idea that they had a house. They wanted to go look at a house. And all of a sudden they went to go write an offer on the house. They're like, well, I got to sell my house too. And it was like,
Does that tie that into this? Or is it part of the program?
that's part of the program.
Okay, so that it's 2 transactions applying those type
Yes.
of splits.
Absolutely. On that.
What if you get a referral from later on?
Later on down the road.
Correct. OpCity will stay in line with it for 2 years, 24 months on that front. Also on our end, so talking about good days, bad days, we have Kurt on 242 plus. Kurt runs the database. So not only when a lead comes in, do we want you to take it and put it in your database, your command database, and work it there? We're actually working it in the command database as well on your behalf. And so what'll happen there is if you are not on a team, because if you have spouses selling houses, or if you're on a team or anything like that, command won't allow me to put your image and all of that stuff. But let's say you're not on a team, we're actually taking that individual too with Ryzen 242 Plus, putting it in a database and marketing on your behalf. So like we had a Christmas event here, beginning of December. We had people from 242 Plus Rise come through here, go to the Christmas out. Wendy Woodbury had group go through here. She didn't even know they were coming through and did the whole Christmas event thing. And that's because we marketed to them on Wendy's behalf. It's Wendy's name, it's your name, it's all of that, but it's more additional leverage on that. Excellent question. Now, let's say you're part of a team or your spouse is selling houses. Right at this moment, we can't grab like your marketing likeness image to go ahead and send emails, but you're tagged. So in our CRM, we're tagged with your name and your information. So if it comes back, so let's say they respond to, like, we're having an event, hey, I want to come to the event. Then we go like, hey, Chris Rose, Susie's going to come to the pie giveaway. Da 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 da. She wants apple. That type of thing. So we're truly working together on this.
I've got a rookie question.
Yeah,
Not on a team yet, but probably gonna sign with a team like tomorrow.
sure.
So what happens if I sign up with this today and then I join it? Like, is that gonna be messy or should I sign with the team first?
No, well, it actually happens all the time. We have,
Okay.
we have half of our people are on a team.
Right.
It's a team tool.
Right.
When you get a team, you get leverage, you get leads. So it's a team tool with your own image and likeness.
So I just want to piggyback you were talking about the speed to lead
Yes.
situation. I'm assuming still the same way, 'cause I did this like 5 or 6 years ago. And I think your points and your score goes up the more calls you take and accept. Whereas if you're ignoring them all the time, your score tends to go downward.
Right now, our team is at a 94% conversion ratio of clicking when a lead comes through.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's a good metric.
That's a very good metric. And it's because we talk about it all the time. Because if you let a lead pass, your score goes down.
You
And then
can
you
turn it
keep-
off though, right? So that you're not getting like.
Isn't that awesome?
I just wanted to make sure that like.
Pick
if
and
I'm
choose
like-
when you get a lead.
5-minute
Yes.
bio break, pause.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that was
Exactly.
my thought. I'm like, oh.
Yep. All right. Any other questions with that? One more slide, please. All right. So let's say this is all sounding good. We didn't have this slide before and we need to have it. Remember I was talking about standards and what you're actually signing up for? One, you need to attend one class a week. You need to grow. You need to be in the room or on a Zoom with people that are working to achieve lead conversion at a high level. That can be a best practice call. That can be a national call. That can be a troubleshooting call. You have a whole bunch of leverage out there. That can be our call that we have twice a month on that. You need to respond to a lead in 6 seconds or less. The Breakfast of Champions is lead generation and clicking the buttons and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why we have a 94% ratio as well. People are doing it. We talk about doing it when you're ready, going on snooze when you're not. Communicate with every lead on a regular basis. Well, I hope so. It's followed in the app. We actually, if you don't go ahead and you're not responding to people or you're not putting in information in an app or on the CRM, we get notified of it and then we go ahead and make a phone call. Hey, we got to talk to these people. We need to go ahead and put notes in the app and stuff like that. So you need to do that as far as weekly. Have them on a smart plan, communicate with them, how to convert with them. Hence, you need to do it, and we teach classes on it. Keep daily, weekly notes in Opcity. I just touched base with that. Maintain a score of 110 or better at all times. That's the biggest one right here. If you do not have a score, Opcity has a score. I will let you know if you're doing what we want to do. Your score is going to be 115, 118. If this is kind of I'm not gonna go, you know, I'm off for 2 weeks. I'm not going to classes. I'm not putting in notes. Your score's gonna be horrible. You're not gonna get any leads. You don't want to be in the program anyways. So that's why 110, if you're above that, we're good. We're all golden. If not, I want to get you out of there because I don't want you spending $50 a month to be in the program. Save it. Go find a different lead generation source. That's cool. All good. Attend 242 check-in calls. Our local group. They're twice a month. That's the thank you for. All right. So if this all sounds good, in the next slide, there's going to be a barcode. You do an application. Once that application is complete, then we'll look at it. The reason why we look at it, and we want to go ahead and know where you're at in real estate, where you're at in the world, so we can help you better on that whole front. One of the questions are, do you like buyers or sellers more? Stuff like that. Answer that correctly. We get leads from other sources other than Op City. And then we just feed the 242 plus people that. And so like Mutual of Omaha, we get leads from Mutual Omaha. That lead program is only 25% to them, and then the split. So there's more opportunities out there. So that's why we ask a whole bunch of questions on that. Finish that, then we send you the paperwork and get you going. If you are interested and you're online and you're interested, go ahead, let me know. Do the application right away because we're sending a bulk of people in while we know there's still a window open. So, and that's not a sales pitch. It's just other people here in the room know that I'm like, oh, sorry, I can't get us in right now, but we can right at the moment. So it's just cool. You attend RISE, the orientation program, weekly trainings, win some leads. Next slide, please. There's a QR code to scan, and then that will send you the application to go ahead and fill out.
So is that like committing to it if I do that right now? So
No, what'll happen is you'll get an application and then we'll go through the application and then we will send you an actual document. Hey, that's when you would sign and say, I want to be a part of it.
okay. So I would have time to like think about it.
Absolutely. Thoughts?
You ever get to learn about the ISA steps they're taking at Op City? Like I have my own online leads coming in on my
Yeah.
website. Do
So-
you ever learn their follow-up steps, or does RISE 242 talk about that? Or is it more from like phone call to conversion?
Depends on like, so I've been on so many calls
Yeah.
that I can say yes. If you're doing like a once a week call, you might randomly step in on one and they're talking about the process. I mean, that's why I know they're 4.5 minutes on the call and they're asking them certain questions and stuff like that. You might run into a class like that. Usually what they're teaching is best practice from boom, once we get the lead. It's all talking about best practices.
Yeah.
On that. I went a little long, you guys. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know you said like the portal's open right now,
Yes.
but if we're not able to commit right now, is there probably gonna be opportunity in the future to do this?
Get your name in
Okay.
and then we'll have it in the queue.
Okay.
And then but then you gotta let us know when.
Okay, yeah,
Cause it floated, Yep, we just need to know when.
okay. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Cool. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And thank you.
List of 39, I have to pay one first. I'm really.
That's a really good idea. I like the way your brain works.
The interesting thing for me is that I always divide prospects into lists of A, B, and C, and I always start with the.
Just in case I get any
For sure, right? We start with Friday.
And then you start to well, it's like, I was about my,
Tony.
like, I used to do seminars as part of my job with the
Minnesota license.
and I would always go to like with the seminar, the first time I was doing it, I'd go to like Elmer's here.
Yeah, so what would they?
And then I'd come here and do like my mom.
They dominate the area.
I was talking about it, we have
Yeah.
another.
Okay, so I have a question.
That I can do.
Um,
Benefits from it.
I'll
I'll
just
just
use that.
I'm hoping Simon So here, I'm actually gonna go run. He drove up for it, so I was like, I wanna go. Oh, yeah. So, but yes, it was recorded. If we want. Okay, let's do it.
We'll just submit
That- No, it is the deal.
Then we can set.
Oh, they have like
This
everything.
thing, it works. It didn't take me the night to
Like,
but sometimes I have to like unshare my screen. And I was like, you're done wrong. Right now, it's doing great. Whoopsies.
I always go to my, I have to do your laundry.
What?
No, no.
Where do you go?
That-
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna like sign up for it.
Yeah, so orientation, how it is.
Even though, like,
I have to everyone, yeah, that's why I reached out to
Yeah.
about this time, but that's.
So at the start of the year, what I mean by that. We're not talking about like. And so I would, first stuff.
I was like, Ronnie,
Go ahead and get.
now we're.
I have a question though. You're able to answer this. It's asking if I'm willing to do like leases and stuff. I don't know how to, like, I don't know what.
It's not, it's gonna be harder.
I am the eyeglass gal, that's my profession.
So on occasion, like even like some people for like 6 months.
I don't want to, because I only have to wholesale the doctor's
Properties.
Oh.
it's closer
Yeah.
to-
Information on it.
Yeah.
How do you-
Well,
You do it for $75, you know. That's by the time you.
for sure. When what happens is that 75
Sounds like a good program.
goes ahead, it raises your score. and gets you up.
Savvy and.
So like.
Shot smell to, all of my friends and family, they
So
know.
we have an individual that has a $3 million property.
Absolutely, yeah, what's up?
Okay, so,
So
um,
it's kind of like the good.
uh,
And I